On the edge of the Moulderwood there stood a small village, Crumhorne. The hamlet was surrounded by a high palisade, while the villagers carried makeshift weapons, flails, axes, and nail-studded planks. Life as the Scoia'tael's neighbors was clearly not easy. While her men rested, Meve approached two of the villagers. They lowered their heads in respect and fidgeted nervously with their shirt hems.
My lady, reckon you ought to know. Elves meeting traders in the woods at night. Buy swords, herbs.
Rayla, who had overheard the conversation, twisted her mouth in a hateful scowl.
Hawkers stink worse than vermin. Willing to help murderers for coin. Please, milady, we must find them and punish them. You, talk! Where do these meetings take place?
The peasants looked at each other. One scratched his head, the other toed the sand. Finally, one of them blurted out,
Could tell you, milady, yes, but only for gold.
I'm merely passing through,
Meve said with a shrug.
The moment I leave these woods, the Scoia'tael cease to be my problem. But you shall stay with them.
The peasants looked at each other, confused. One of them opened his mouth as if to say something, but the Queen paid no more heed. Her soldiers began marching off, leaving Crumhorne far behind.
I see I'm dealing with shrewd men of trade. Fine. Your fee.
Meve took a few coins from her pouch and tossed them on the ground. The peasants dropped on all fours and started snatching the coins from the grass, ignoring the contemptuous gaze of the Queen's soldiers.
Them hawkers wheeled them goods to the old fishing hut north a year. Scoia'tael come a-crawling from the woods, the first crow of the cockerel.
The Queen told her men to prepare to fight the Scoia'tael and their abettors. Black Rayla sat on a fallen trunk and sharpened her sword. The grinding of stone on blade sounded a grim promise.
I do not look kindly on extortion,
Meve replied, drawing her sword. The blade glistened in the sun, casting a bright light on the peasants' terrified faces.
I'm willing to forget this offence. If you tell me all you know, now.
Them hawkers wheeled them goods to the old fishing hut north a year. Scoia'tael come a-crawling from the woods, the first crow of the cockerel.
The Queen told her men to prepare to fight the Scoia'tael and their abettors. Black Rayla sat on a fallen trunk and sharpened her sword. The grinding of stone on blade sounded a grim promise. Meve arrived at the hut the villagers claimed to be the meeting point for the Scoia'tael and the hawkers. Torchlight flickered amidst the trees, and she heard the sound of hushed voices.
Your Grace,
whispered Rayla.
They're in our grasp. We must act quickly if all the elves retreat into the woods.
Quite a lot of them,
the Queen said, her brow furrowed.
We'd best fall back. Reynard, retreat.
Your Grace, we can't simply...
We can,
Meve said, cutting Rayla off.
My aim is not to pacify elven rebels, but to cross these woods and reach Aldersburg. We must match our actions to our intentions.
Rayla said nothing. She didn't have to. Her face was an open tome, writ large with frustration and anger.
Worry not, Rayla,
the Queen said, patting her on the back.
I shan't let a chance like this slip. Attack!
The Lyrians rushed out of the woods at the unsuspecting elves and merchants. Moments later, the sound of combat filled the dark wood.
Hawker scum! There's but one penalty for trading with elves.
Meve pulled off a rare trick. She laid a trap for the Scoia'tael in their own woods. The surrounded elves fought to the bitter end, choosing death over human captivity. Meve cracked open the hawkers' chests and stared at a mass of tangled oakum. Perplexed, she dug deeper and found the real goods hidden underneath. Bolts with entrail-pureeing hooks, leg-snapping bear traps, and incurable poisons.
Instruments of cruelty,
said Reynard, looking over the chest's contents.
Designed to deliver maximum pain and a prolonged death.
'Tis shameful to fight with such things.
The usually quiet Ache blurted out. Gascon did not share in the general gloom. He reached for one of the arrows and balanced it in his hand with curiosity.
A corpse is a corpse. It cares not how it became one. And these marvels, oh, my lads could do fine things with them.
My crown I have lost, but my honor remains.
Meve said, grabbing the arrow from Gascon.
I will not allow soldiers under my command to fight with this. Reynard, have these chests thrown in the lake.
In sinking the Hawker's weapons, Meve sent a clear signal that her honor would not tarnish even at the darkest hour. News of the massacre echoed through all of Aedirn, cooling the desire of anyone tempted to profit by selling death to elven terrorists.
The ends justify the means,
Meve said curtly as she grabbed a weapon from one of the chests. Her soldiers followed suit and equipped themselves with Hawker arms. Soon enough, the elves would feel the pain they'd hoped to inflict on others.
We got the gold. Them elves will get a beating. Now that's what I call good custom. When two dogs fight, the third's sure to get the bone. I told you the Queen's no fishwife. I told you you'd do better not to haggle with her, that she'd eat you whole.